But Jesus, to start this thing out, if Britt Baker and Mercedes Mone are your two big stars that you want to start your national television program at Go Home Show for the Wembley Stadium event with these two, you're in trouble. They've agreed, by the way, Brian, when they come out for the contract signing for the match that's going to take place in 4 days. They've been advertising for a month. We'll ignore all of these loops because the WWE does the same thing. One would think they'd have these things locked down, right? But they've agreed to no physicality. So that's all it takes. Just, okay, guys, promise. They're picking and choosing. Later on, MJF and Ospreay have been forced to agree to no physicality, or elsewise they'll be fined. But here they've just agreed to no physicality, so they're going to honor their word. Do you see the inconsistencies?
Yes.
And then sometimes they apparently don't have to agree because they always beat the shit out of each other. And still nothing bad happens to them. So I don't know. But anyway, they need to get these two to talk to each other. And you can tell that Mercedes genuinely believes that she's a big star. There's somebody put a quote up on Twitter the other day from an interview she'd done with a podcast or whatever, where she's, oh, it's so hectic doing all this press. See, that's the way she talks. It sounds just like her, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so hectic doing all this press that sometimes I don't even have time to go home and pack. So I just send one of my team to a local mall to get the necessities. What the fuck? So anyway, in the Attitude Era, there were 10 million people watching The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin trash talk each other and beat the shit out of each other. And now it's 600,000 people watching two girls have a 10-minute scripted argument about whose initials are more important. And Britt was a great heel promo because she was obnoxiously bitchy in a productive for the business way, rather than Mercedes, who apparently is just obnoxiously bitchy. I don't fucking know. But this sounded, but when she's a babyface, it sounded like she was running for office and speaking at the Rotary Club. It is and I was a foundation of Pele, and yes, you paved the way for girls like me to want to dream. I was, what the fuck? Ah, damn it. And while Britt's doing that, the other thinks she's Meryl fucking Streep. And so was it, anyway, I'll get to the point of the thing and then I'll open the floor to you, Brian. But Britt said, well, I agreed I wasn't going to hit Mercedes. But Camille is standing there, who has done absolutely fuck all of nothing to anybody, right?
Right.
She has not even looked, I don't know if she looked sideways at anybody, but she hadn't touched, wasn't threatening anybody. So she says, I promise I wouldn't hit you, Mercedes, but this bitch is getting on my nerves. And bops her in the head with a microphone. Well, now, Camille is wearing high heel shoes with heels so high and so thin that it looks like she's a stilt walker in that padded ring that bounces a bit. I don't know how she was standing up straight to begin with in a ring in these shoes, but the point is, for the spot that they're about to do, boy, it sounded great in rehearsal when they either talked about it or they actually did it, but people weren't wearing fucking shoes. I don't know what the fuck, but Camille, I love Camille. She's got a great look. She's wonderful. She's fabulous. She's excellent. Do not wear high heels, even if you look a little shorter, if you have to do physical shit in the ring. Either it will look like this or You'll break your fucking ankle. But when Britt bops Camille, she's got to stagger, but she's trying to stagger in high heels. And then Britt throws the contract folder at Mercedes, and she has to do the flummox thing. Oh, I can't see. And then Britt bounces Camille's head off the desk, and Camille has to kind of back up and sit in Mercedes's lap. And then now they're both in the comfortable office chair that they put in for the contract signing. And Britt's deal is she's going to get up on the table, the desk, whatever, and dive off and crossbody both of them in the chair. And it'll look lovely because they'll go over backwards and wow, right? But no, because for one thing, certainly to God, they can't have walked through this. For one thing, if they were going to do that spot, they needed to have, for some reason, that they could have easily done with a little set dressing of a fucking, a signed placard holder or something. They needed to have the table a little further than plumb in the middle. Because not only is Camille on stilts trying to fucking awkwardly sit down on Mercedes, but Mercedes also reacted when the thing was thrown at her, and the chair is on wheels. It's not like a folding chair where you can go over backwards and it's going to go because it's got wheels and there's a bigger base. So they needed more room. But when Mercedes went back, then Camille sat on her, and then Britt dives off. Britt's momentum caused the wheels to just continue going backward. There was no tipping point over because it hit the ropes and they all just fell in a goddamn heap. Did that describe what you saw adequately?
Somewhat. I mean, adequately? I don't know if I would apply that word to any of this here.
Well, I have the description. If they'd have had a little more room, and if Camille could have sat down and had a chance to lean back a little bit, because both of them needed to push off with their feet when Britt was coming from a higher angle rather than straight on, and then they could have tipped the thing, but it didn't work. And sometimes these things don't work. But the heels made Camille look klutzy, and otherwise, this was lengthy. Your thoughts?
This was lengthy. Again, I hate when people all of a sudden go to the "you inspired me" thing. Especially when it's someone who doesn't look like they're much older than you are. If they are even older, I don't even know how old Sasha Banks is compared to Britt Baker.
Well, finish your thought and then look it up.
But that thing, you're not the person you used to be. I looked up to you when I was 20. Like, when did she look up to her exactly? How old was she when she was looking up to her? So that stuff sucks. Britt Baker trying to be like more and more like Stone Cold Steve Austin every week is a bit ridiculous. She's like, it's like a countdown to her next injury. And when Britt Baker was clearly setting up that something was about to happen, she guaranteed she wouldn't hit Mercedes Mone. Camille was like leaning in, waiting for it.
Yeah. Well, she was examining the signature on the contract.
They put it here at the front of the show. This isn't the first time where they put the women where they traditionally have the most audience, both because of Big Bang Theory and just grace. If you're going to check out the show, even if you're not going to watch it, you may check it out at 8 o'clock and see what it is. They're trying to get this shit over. I'll give Tony credit, because that's the only way you could justify any of these salaries. They're trying, but, and you know what? I am intrigued to see what the match will be. I actually am intrigued. Is it going to be like the Tony Storm Saraya debacle on this show? Like, what is this going to be? This is not the WWE. This is AEW. What will this women's match be? I'm intrigued. And, Britt Baker doesn't need Jamie Hayter. She could beat up everyone by herself.
Well, now, come on. Sooner or later, if they get another 5 or 6 girls on the other side, then Britt might need help. But